Hyundai Ioniq 9 is receiving lots of praise from the media, and it's possible that it might actually be the new minivan. As minivan sales are declining in the United States, it's very likely that a new minivan equivalent car will take over for its market segment. Could this new vehicle be the all-electric family hauler? Even if EV family haulers take over the crown from minivans for the family hauler of choice, there is also planned to be fierce competition from the all-new Volvo EX90, which we have previously covered in Car News. This article just proves that Hyundai's strides to make their cars, and especially their EVs, more palatable to families is a success. If you're a cool person, when you think of Jeep, you probably think of the Wrangler. But if you're your average soccer mom, you probably think of the Cherokee. This new Jeep is not only a symbol of Jeep's success, but also a symbol of perceived Stellantis success. This also fixes a huge hole in their lineup ever since they previously canceled the Jeep Cherokee in 2023. Now you may ask, why would they cancel the Jeep Cherokee? Well, they didn't have enough money to update it, sales were declining, and there's no use on keeping a dead fish on the boat, unless it's a fishing boat. So they decided to kill it off and keep selling the Jeep Grand Cherokee, even though that doesn't really make sense. But the question we're all thinking is, does this mean a new Jeep Grand Cherokee should be redesigned? For a while now, Kia and Hyundai have been playing fast and loose with the car market, making cars like the K4 and the K5 that are designed to bedazzle buyers with their new, shocking, innovative, modern style. But the reality of running a car company in this economy is slapping Kia and Hyundai in the face. The interior quality and exterior quality of the materials has declined significantly over the previous model. There's a realization all throughout the car industry that even though Kia styles may be modern, even though Kia sales may be going up, a Kia is still a Kia no matter what you call it. There were even previously more exaggerated reliability issues with the original 2023 release of this generation. What happens next? We don't know. The Nissan Leaf, a previously fan-favorite EV, has been redesigned to be more of a crossover, but some issues still arise. But even though the Nissan Leaf is finally a crossover, which is what at least some people have been asking for, there are still some issues with the new design. For example, the rear passenger seats are significantly cramped compared to the previous model. And even though it may be a crossover, will its new shape be enough to entice buyers to buy the Nissan Leaf, or will they flock to Teslas for gigantic loans like they have been previously? Although Nissan Leaf fans have been seeming to positively receive this new model, so we'll keep watching and reporting to see how this plays out among Nissan Leaf buyers and fans alike. But not all is bad at Hyundai Kia, as Hyundai has invented or created a new Hyundai Creator SUV concept, which might appear on their lineup as an SUV akin to a Honda Element or Toyota FJ Cruise. This represents a very broad idea that we've been seeing a lot in the car industry, which is Hyundai and Kia now reflecting what happened to Japanese car companies when they first entered America, or even later than that, around the 2010s. The Hyundai Creator is Nissan's Xterra, but for Hyundai. It's going to be a rugged SUV. It's going to make the brand more adventurous. It's going to be the cool Hyundai, not just your soccer mom's Hyundai, despite Hyundai Kia's attempts to make their cars more palatable. Speaking of palatable, the new Kia Telluride design is really something else. Personally, I and most normal people find this design absolutely hideous. I think the vertical bars are stupid. I think I prefer the much outgoing Kia Telluride vibe much more than this new model. But Hyundai Kia fanboys, which I refuse to acknowledge exist, will still defend this design, quoting its modernness. To me, it kind of looks like a modern sloth. I'm looking at the weird rear view mirrors and the big ugly square wheels. I think that's putting squares and the number 4 anywhere in wheels is the worst thing to happen to the auto industry, like, forever. Speaking of rugged SUVs, I love the Jeep Recon. I love the way it looks. You know, the Jeep Compass enticed a lot of people, even though it was just a Fiat Panda, because they like, having a Jeep, but also having a more modern SUV. This Jeep Recon is exactly what Jeep needs. I think this is brilliant. This is exactly what they've needed to be doing since the very beginning. It is the style that people love, right, with the functionality of a Wrangler. You can take the doors off. It's a true Jeep. It's not a Fiat Panda in disguise. It's essentially a Jeep Compass, or at least a Jeep Wrangler wearing a Jeep Compass suit that people can buy thinking they just have a normal SUV with the quirks and features of a normal Jeep Wrangler to entice regular Jeep fans to accept it as part of the family. Also, Tesla has decided to be adding CarPlay to their cars. This comes as a shock because usually it's seen that CarPlay is a fix for bad infotainment systems, right? No one wants to use the Toyota Entune suite from 2015, but if that had CarPlay, CarPlay could be updated. Your phone could be updated, and your phone could still talk to CarPlay. So it's a fix for bad infotainment systems. But if there's one car company that doesn't have a bad infotainment system, minus the gauge cluster, it is Tesla. So it's shocking to see that Tesla's might be adding CarPlay to its cars when considerably, and I mean you have to admit this, Tesla has the best infotainment, for infotainment system on the market in the car industry right now. Listen, some people think that this is really pretty, some people think that this is cool. I think it's hideous. Who would want a bunch of screens around them? Who wouldn't want their own personal gauge cluster? That's what I like, and I don't like so much about my Prius. It makes my gauge cluster part of the entire car. I am the pilot. I am the one I am the one driving this car, okay? It is my gauge cluster. It's for me to look at. If the car's having a problem, that's for me to deal with, not for everyone else. And also, the seam in the middle of the screens is made very noticeable by this new graphic. No matter how much marketing Lincoln tries to pull off, I know that in 10 years, this is going to look exactly like the Lexus navigation systems of the 2000s. It's really tempting to have a common Quokka Car News Car of the Year just to outdo Motor Trend's. I mean, really, the Cadillac Escalade IQ. Now, you may ask, how did they end up on this conclusion? Well, it's very simple. They measured in bing bong points, right? It probably has the most leg room. It's an Escalade. It has the most luxurious features. It's a Cadillac. It's the most climate friendly. It's an EV, right? It checks all the boxes that a car news organization like Motor Trend, who I love Motor Trend, read them all the time, and you should too. You should come check out these articles. It checks all the boxes that they would look for in a car of the year, so it's kind of defendable, but seriously, is anyone actually going to buy or want to drive one of these? Probably. Also, Nissan is where Stellantis was last year. They are not doing well at all, and this new Nissan Rogue plug-in hybrid is an example of that. All it is a Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid with a Nissan logo on it. They didn't change the lights, they didn't change the fog lights, they didn't change anything. Why? Money. They simply don't have the money to design a Nissan version of a Mitsubishi, so they're just selling it as Nissan. It even has Mitsubishi wheels. If you look at the wheels, they are just the standard Mitsubishi Outlander wheels painted black with the Nissan logo on them. Now, it is not the standard Rogue, so don't be afraid. The Rogue isn't going anywhere soon. But this is the new PHEV, so let's see how weird their lineup looks after they keep adding these rebadged Mitsubishis. Also, in the trend of people tirelessly trying to figure out how to make Teslas usable for everyday driving, this is what they've come up with. A climate control thing that snaps onto the bottom of the screen and plugs into the car and tells it what to do. What I'm happy about is that Tesla's accepting these aftermarket modifications. Like Toyota, if they had a modification for this for Toyota, aside from it being like its own computer, Toyota would never do that. They would never go along with this. But Tesla's, they've never publicly condemned it. They've never publicly supported it. But, a lot of these do work with the cars, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to get rid of them anytime soon. So it's nice to see that a car company is finally accepting that aftermarket modifications are just part of people owning cars. The new 2025 Durango V6 3.6-liter Pentastar is a vast improvement over the outgoing Dodge Durango engine. Now, it is a little bit smaller, being 3.6 liters instead of the 3.7-liter PowerTech engine that was already outgoing, but it takes the 0 to 60 time from 7.4 seconds, from 9.5 seconds to 7.4 seconds, and has 295 horsepower compared to the outgoing model's 210. Now, it's not a huge jump, but it is a nice step between the base engine and the Hemi V8, right? The V6, very respectable, very nice engine, glad that they brought it back. The car industry is at least regaining some normality. I think this is the stupidest thing GM could have done. GM was kind of up there, like the Chevy brains, up with Kia, right? With the Chevrolet Traverse, which started at like $21,000, right? They were up there. They were getting the people who just want a cheap lease, right? They were getting those people, and they were the biggest competitor to Kia in terms of cheap crap cars. But guess what? CarPlay is one of the main features that those buyers care about when they sign the check and agree to a $164 50-year mortgage loan or whatever on their $20,000 Kia Telluride, right? This is what people care about, and by them removing it, it's definitely going to hurt business. Now, I get the argument where it fixes bad infotainment systems, but their infotainment system isn't that good to justify not having CarPlay.